We still have a couple more minutes to settle in on the recording. Welcome to our postmortem of season 3, week 1. Go ahead and grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and we'll begin. Make sure that you have your computers fired up. If you are a part of season 2 or 1 and you have a C panel, you want to check in, log in with that. It'll make your life a whole lot easier. So you can go ahead and start doing that while we wait for folks to shuffle in. Have a happy Thursday, folks. Have a nice weekend. Starboss, you're going to want to make sure that you're logged in to your cPanel, friend. I know that that's while you're sitting here waiting, it's just going to help you and get all your duckies in a row before we start. Because I know you weren't here last night, and that will be a confusing piece of the puzzle for you. So, your cPanel that you had from season 2. Yep. Exactly. And all you're going to do is open up that tab and make sure that you're ready for when class starts. So go ahead and fire up that computer, get your cPanel all logged in, and we will begin shortly. It usually takes a minute to get all of the folks that are listening in on the recording. We're going to figure that out eventually, but just know that we are updating as we speak. InnovatorsThinkTank.com. So you will have the live stream so that you can see what Alisher is up to on his screen, and we will move through it. There is some kind of confusing pieces to this puzzle from last night about communities, etc., and what we are putting in place. For those of you that are not on the Slack channel, this is very, very important. Our main Slack channel for season 2 has a special link that you need to find. It was about 2 hours in last night, so about the 8:30 mark, somewhere in that general vicinity, a link to season 3, because that is going to help you have the right proper portals for this season. So take a look at that too while we continue to make sure everything is on in the background. Get yourself a cup of coffee, sit in, relax. We're going to have some fun. Go ahead, Starboss. What do you got for me?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me up for a quick question. I just want to make sure. So which link am I going to watch? I know Alistair usually posts a link down in the comments, and that's the one I usually send to myself in messages to watch it to watch the screen on the
I do
Zoom.
believe it's up in the nest. I'm going to
Oh,
click
it's
on
in the
that just to
nest.
make sure.
Okay, is it
Yep.
because I would follow Alistair's post. So I'm not sure which one I'm supposed to follow today
I
because
know
they're
it's
all
hard to get back
Josh.
in the saddle too after you've had a break. So,
Yeah.
all of us are doing the same thing. We had a 3-week break in between season 2 and season 3. And so you kind of get into the rhythm of how these spaces are. I'm sure Alistair will post one also, but the link up top, I think, is the one that is going to work. I'm not seeing it yet, but
Okay.
meaning the video, but let me click on
Yeah,
it to see.
because before I tried the ones that Josh would put, but it would.
Yep,
I
they're
don't know.
working on it.
Okay.
Right now, it should say there's a network error. Please try again. It's they're rebooting and everything. Because, I mean, when you think about it, we ended at 11 o'clock last night, so it's actually about a 12-hour turnaround, and we're starting it all over again. It should be now. If you refresh your screen, I have a wonderful little you can play it thing, and it is live. So if you want to grab that link up top, you'll be able to see the screen live. For those of you that are listening in also, last season we did bookmark our C panel. So that is one of the coolest things that you can do for your past self, can do for your future self, is to put all of these things in one kind of local or specialized folder. It makes it easy to find, and it also makes sure that you're not clicking random links. One of the things that we talked about last night, just to kind of recap real quick, follow the links that Ross, Nick, and Alistair give you. It is so easy to go into the system and, you're going to put in your credit card, or you're going to, log into something that you shouldn't log into. And you're not going to be in our playground. One of the things that we talked about last night, and it's really important, we are getting special tools from different companies, but these tools live within the TSI playground. We are on an island, Tech in Schools island, and the tools that we're playing with have like a little branding iron in the corner that says, "Hey, this C panel, or this DigitalOcean, or this Cisco, or whatever it is company that we have an affiliation or a partnership with." Belongs to actually TSI. We're just allowed to use it, play with it, and have a little piece of the ecosystem. So as long as you remember that when you are um, downloading certain things, or you're adding things to your digital backpack, they are all going to have that little TSI after the fact, right? And that's twofold, keeps everybody in line. One, it gives the boys the opportunity to help you when you run afoul or something doesn't load or anything else. They have a back portal into helping us along. If you are not following directions, or you're trying to move ahead, or you're just clicking buttons because that's what entrepreneurs and unconventional doers, dreamers, makers do, and they test the perimeters like a velociraptor, it can get us into trouble pretty quick. And so we want to make sure to avoid that while we're doofing around today. We're going to move really quickly. Class is about an hour, give or take. So Alistair's going to test his mic right now, and we're going to begin shortly. Alistair, can you test your mic for me, friend?
Do you guys hear me?
Excellent. Perfect. And I do believe that Cash Money Kev is behind Josh's beautiful mug and his PFP. Yep. Welcome. So when you're ready to begin, Alistair, the stage is yours.
Right. So last season, we all got a free cPanel. And with that cPanel, we decided to make a WordPress website. Right. WordPress is one of the most popular website frameworks out there. It's very malleable. You can do a lot of things with it. WordPress has a lot of plugins. And now this season, we're actually going to expand on that. So we're going to start building a few other applications inside of our cPanel that will kind of help us engage our own community. And what we did last night is we built what's called a CRM, Customer Relationship Manager, that essentially captures the information of people, in our case, people that will sign up on our WordPress website. And then it allows you to interact with that data, right? Figure out what kind of maybe mailing advertisements you can do, or just reach out to those people in your CRM and start engaging with them. Start figuring out what kind of products they want even. Now, typically, a customer relationship manager like Salesforce is going to cost you per user, per customer, per click. And it gets pretty expensive. If you have a few people in your company and you want a few seats, it's going to start getting into hundreds of dollars a month. And then eventually, it's going to start getting into thousands of dollars a month. So it just becomes very expensive. But there are open source alternatives that we're going to look at that are free. And all it really requires is you having a cPanel, which most of us do have a cPanel. Now, if you got a cPanel during season 2, you can just log back into it. We did not delete anybody from the last season. So everybody should still be there. You should still be able to log in. It's the same credentials. We didn't change anything. And your WordPress website will still be there. So if you have a WordPress website from season 2, well, if you were not one of the people chosen, then that WordPress website is actually still going to be up for the next 2 months or so, right, as we go through the next 6 weeks. And then eventually you're going to end up moving everything. Now, last night we looked at something called vTiger. Oh, also, before we continue to vTiger and actually getting started with that, does everybody have a cPanel? So you can give me a thumbs up if you have a cPanel. We'll do a few questions. So I saw a few thumbs up. Okay, now give me a thumbs up if you're able to log into your cPanel from last season. Okay, now give me a thumbs down if you don't have a cPanel. Okay, I didn't see any. So that's great. We all have cPanels. We can all log into them. And if you have a cPanel from last night, make sure you just bookmark the link. If you guys are watching my live stream, you want to bookmark this link that I'm on. It is your direct access into cPanel. And you should be able to use the credentials that you have in hosting to log into here and be able to manage your website, make new websites. There's actually no limit to the amount of websites you guys can make in this cPanel. I think even last season, some of us made a few websites in here. And what we're really going to start with first is taking a look at some of these applications. So cPanel has this thing that we provide to every one of you. Typically, if you sign up and get a cPanel, you don't really get this. They have a trial, you can check it out. But this is called Installatron. This is how we installed WordPress last time. So as you guys can see, I have a bunch of WordPress websites here from season 2. Didn't clean out any of them. And I can still log into them. So just a quick review. The way you log into your WordPress website is by using the second link that ends in WP admin, meaning that it's going to go to this admin page and it's actually going to log you straight back in. So if you haven't visited your website since the end of season 2, well, this is how you can revisit it. I know we've got a lot of questions about coming back to the website and being able to access it again. Now, what we're going to focus on is Applications Browser. So here in Installatron, you can go to Applications Browser. And you're going to start seeing all sorts of different applications. There's applications for community building. These are all kind of forums, things where you can chat and interact with each other, little social networks. Then we have our content management, which is where we had WordPress. If you're creating your own course, you might even take a look at something like Moodle, which is a learning management system where you can put in your lessons, you can create all sorts of quizzes, have people even sign up and pay for your course. Then there's e-commerce. PrestaShop is pretty popular. These are kind of like open source alternatives to Shopify. If you guys are familiar with Shopify. You could even make your own file server. But what we're going to focus on is, let's look for vTiger.
It's up a little bit. There you go. First line where the little puffin is. Casey and Alisher, go down. It's in that second area where you were talking about the content management, right?
The far right.
It's on the far right hand side. Go down one little panel. There it is. First line.
I'll just search it. There you go. It's a little paw. Now, vTiger, well, these screenshots are not doing it justice. This is like version 5. But vTiger is a customer relationship management system. And what's important to keep in mind here is you're able to install vTiger for free on your cPanel. But if you look them up, of course, they're a paid service that you, just like Salesforce and any other one of these CRMs, you pay like $20 to $30 a month per person for. Now, you can search for it like I did. There's a little search bar here. And vTiger is open source, meaning that you can develop on top of it. You can install it for free. You can really do whatever you want with it at the end of the day. And what ended up happening is a lot of developers started making plugins for vTiger. So whenever you look up vTiger, you're also going to find a lot of plugins and integrations for it. For example, like Stripe. Now, Stripe is something we have already used in season 1 to collect payments. Well, now, if you have like an online shop and this is how you're managing your invoices, this is how you're managing the payment interactions with your clients, well, you can actually connect to Stripe and take payments in Stripe, and it will be shown here. And you'll be able to see data like how much each customer spends in your store. And you'll be able to engage your customers that way. Another cool thing is, of course, you can create like a list of contacts in here, and you can just build up your mailing listing with this. There's a lot of use cases for a CRM. Really up to you guys what you use it for. Now, once you get to here, Installatron applications browser, you want to install application. Now, I know yesterday we had a few issues installing. I think when we were installing, it kind of took a long time because we're all installing at the same time. Looks like today there's not as many people, and I think most of us already have it installed. So you might not need to install it again. Now, there's a few ways of going about installing this. So the first way, which is the way we did not do yesterday, is going into a subdirectory. So my main domain here is alishertest.tsiprogram.org, and I can create a subdirectory called CRM. Right, but that will look kind of ugly, because what will end up happening is people will have to go to my domain /CRM to access this platform and log into it. So what we're going to do instead is make a new domain. And whenever you make a new domain in cPanel, it also makes a new folder for you. So everything will be nice and separated, and you won't have to, go around looking for it. You'll just be able to access it from domains. So check this out. cPanel has all sorts of tools. There's a search bar at the top right. We're going to look for domains. Now, some of you might have domains from season 2. You might have added your domain here. Well, this is another reason for us to create a separate domain and separate it. As you guys can see, I already have another domain here, Lander, and it goes to a completely different folder, completely different website. This was one of our tests. And I'm going to make another domain. And again, there's actually no limit to how many domains you guys can make. However, there's very important structure to how we make this domain. So let's take a look at this. My main domain in this case is alishertest.csiprogram.org. All of you have a domain that ends with .csiprogram.org. That's created in a way so everybody can access their website whether or not they actually have purchased a domain with GoDaddy. Now, I'm going to make a subdomain for this, meaning I'm going to add something in front of my domain, and then the rest of it is going to stay the same. So for me, I'm going to add CRM, and then the rest of it can stay the same. So crm.alishertest.csiprogram.org. Now, it's kind of long, I know, but if you guys, at the end of this 6 weeks, want to add your own domain, we're going to go over that again. So you'll be able to add your domain from GoDaddy, Namecheap. And if you guys have a domain, you can actually create different subdomains in GoDaddy in these DNS records. So you can turn one domain into 100 different subdomains. So now you have 100 different websites that are kind of unified by the same ending. And for all of us, that ending right now is csiprogram.org. Now, what you're going to notice is there's this check mark for document root. And you don't want to share root. Instead, what you want to do is uncheck that, and it will create this folder for you. And it's a name that corresponds to your domain. So you kind of know that, okay, this folder corresponds to this website based on the domain and the name of the folder. So it's a good way to orient yourself whenever you're going through files, because what will end up happening with vTiger is when you guys start to go in and start rebranding vTiger, changing the logo, changing the way it looks, you're going to need to know what folder it's in. So this is going to be a good identifier. Now you could just submit. And very important, for you guys, you can put whatever subdomain, like CRM, and for all of you, it's going to end in .your domain name. So for you, it's not going to be alishertest. For you, it's going to be whatever your domain name is. So let's submit. This should work flawlessly. There you go. Now I have this new domain, and what's cool about cPanel and the way we have it set up is whenever you make a domain, whenever you add a domain, you actually get a free SSL certificate, meaning your website gets automatically secured after a few minutes. Nice. So now let's go back and let's actually make that vTiger CRM. So I'm going to go to applications. Now, before we move on, does anybody have questions about adding a domain in here? You can just raise your hand. We'll bring you up as a speaker. And for example, if you want to make another website, if you guys are working on something in between the times that we meet, well, you can make another domain and make another, link it to that website. Because as you notice, there's all sorts of different applications you could create from applications browser. So if you're messing around with something like Moodle, I know somebody is actually using that in the class. If you're messing around with something like PHP My Chat, hold on, it's a little slow. Or if you're messing with something like PrestaShop, just make a new domain. And that domain for now, while we're developing, is always going to end in your domain name .csiprogram.org. That's just the domain we give to everybody. Okay, I found vTiger. I see it now. So vTiger is under e-commerce and business. Makes sense because you're trying to engage your customers, but what we're going to use it for is really trying to engage the community. So vTiger, install application. And when we're installing this application, we're going to look for that new domain name we made. So this dropdown is going to have a new option now. And here it is. And very important here, make sure that the domain you select has HTTPS, meaning that every time you go to it, it'll be secure. Otherwise, people that go to it will get a warning that's not secure. If you guys remember from season 2, it's actually a warning you might have gotten before when you access cPanel. But now we secure the cPanel. So I'm gonna select the one that says HTTPS and make sure it's the domain that you just made a few minutes ago. Or if this is where you stopped last night, it's a domain that you made last night. Now for directory, well, you don't need any directory because this folder that the domain is in is already empty. It's already kind of set up for us to bring in something new. Now, if I remember correctly, this is where we got an error last time. So let's see if we get that error again. Now, administrator username and administrator password, important. Make sure you fill those out because that's how you will log into this platform once it's done. Okay, and let's see those errors. No errors, actually. There they are. Okay, so these errors are easily fixable. This is why having cPanel is kind of like an easier option, because typically, you would use Unix, you would operate with command line, but in this case, well, everything is right here. We can access all of these settings. Now, the settings that it wants us to change are PHP settings, and it says it wants us to, let's see, the selected version is not compatible with selection. Okay, and it wants us to make it PHP 8.1. So let's see where these options are. Now, the best tool here is the search tool. So in the top right, I can search for PHP, and I will see all of my options for PHP. And what's cool is they give you these little descriptions, so you can kind of orient yourself. So multi-PHP ini editor is the tool we're going to go to first, and this is going to allow us to change different PHP settings. Now, sometimes, whenever you, let's say, buy a theme, because there's themes that sell for $70 to $80, and they turn your WordPress website into this amazing professional-looking website that was built by like a 20-person team. There's themes out there that are just amazing. Sometimes those themes will require you to change your PHP settings in order to be able to add content to your website, add pictures to your website, add high-resolution graphics. So this is good to know because it's not just vTiger that will require you to do this. Sometimes WordPress requires you to do this as well. And when you're not in cPanel, typically it's not as easy to achieve. So we're going to look for PHP, and we're going to look for multi-PHP ini editor. Now, for location, we're going to select our domain, the website that we need to change these settings for. And let's take a look. Memory limit 128. We can change that to, I think it was 256, or if you want to be on the safer side, you could even make it 512 M, meaning megabytes. And the same for postmax size. So let's say if you're uploading something to your WordPress that's over 128 megabytes, it'll actually be blocked. The same with vTiger as well. So we can bump that up a little bit to 512. And the same with upload max size. Now, typically these settings are kept extremely low in order to prevent all sorts of files being uploaded to your website. But this is a fairly secure location. We have all sorts of different protective software running on the server. So you can bump these up. And now all you have to do is click apply. And those settings will be saved for you. It actually creates a file if you ever go to File Manager with these settings. So it makes it easy for us. We don't have to write actual code. Now let's go back and let's see if we can finally install vTagger. And sometimes this is what the process of installing something from applications browser looks like. Different apps will require you to have different sorts of limits. vTagger deals a lot with data, so it needs a little bit extra to function. All right, any questions so far, guys, while I install this on my cPanel? Remember, directory, you don't want any directory here. You just want to select the domain that you just created today. And you want to make sure that that domain starts with HTTPS, meaning it will be secure when this website is created. Username and password, very important. Make sure you set that as real credentials, something you'll remember. And if you won't, just write it down. I'm just going to set it to what I usually set it to on this test server. Now, it will probably require you to create a strong password. There's even a generate password button. Just make sure you note this password down somewhere, because this is a password that you will need to use as soon as this application installs.
Alisher, I think I did something wrong. I see that I have the Barber poll and it's copying the database, but I did not write down that password because I just thought it was the same one. I was like, okay, I pushed it as you were saying it, and I thought, I just think I fracked it up.
Okay, so
Will I have
what
to
we'll
go back
do-
and redo it?
when this installs, I'll go in and see if you can change it. And
Okay.
if you can change it, yeah, you could just delete it and do it again.
All right. So that is my key question here, because sometimes your computer keeps your passwords for you, right? So you get lulled into that false sense of security, and even logging into my cPanel, yes, I have all the passwords and credentials written down, but it already felt like it was already created, and so I thought it was the same password as my cPanel. So I hope that other people are learning, and from my mistake, do as I say, not as I did, because now it's 99% installed, and I have a fear that I'm not going to be able to get back into it. So just for other people's awareness that, clicking because you're going from one thing to the other, you get lulled into a false sense of security. So I hope that you can help me, Alisher. Rutro has their hand up.
There's no limit on how many you can install. So you can just
excellent.
delete one and install another. You can install one without deleting it. But as soon as I'm done, we're actually going to go in and see if we can change that password without knowing it.
Well, that should be interesting. And I'm willing to be the guinea pig. Rutro has a question, so I don't want to go further without answering and asking. Rutro, how are you? We didn't see you last night. And good morning. Happy Thursday. Smacking you a high five with your hand up. What would you like to say to the people?
Howdy, howdy. Oh my God, I feel like a moron. So I'm like juggling like the phone, my iPad, because that's how I was able to get into cPanel, and my Mac, so the PC. And I'm trying to install, I think I created that domain, the CRM thing, and I'm doing it on my iPad, which is probably not the big thing for the Vigor or the little paw thing. And I'm getting an error. It's like, version 8.1 is not compatible. Is that like an iPad thing?
No. So check this out. If you're looking at the live stream, there's a search at the top right. In the search, you're gonna look for PHP ini editor. It's called multi PHP ini editor. You can just look for PHP, and it's the first thing that pops up.
Okay.
And then when you click on that, it gives you an option to edit some settings. So you're gonna select a location, and you're gonna select the domain that you made, the CRM domain.
Okay.
And then in here, you're going to see things like memory limit, post max size, and upload max size, and they will all say 128.
Okay.
So you need to change that 128 number to 512 for all three of them.
Okay. Okay, so I'm at for all three. So I got
Yes.
memory limit, post max size, and then
Upload max size.
okay, got it. So 512 for
Mm.
all of those.
Yeah, and then make
Okay.
sure you click apply at the bottom.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I missed that step. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. It's like a standard for all of these. Some will require you to do this, some will not. And when you go back to applications and go back to VTiger, you should be able to install it.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Oh, and it had when I was over there, it had your default like admin thing. Do I need to change that?
Yeah, so you want to make sure you set an admin login, login and password that you will know.
Okay, cool.
Oh, mine is still installing. This is a heavy application.
Yeah, I did notice that last night too. Mine is also installing, and I'm using the beefy computer, so there's lots of space and such. We did have a number of folks that
It's
did
not
not.
about the computer, right? It's the server, and I can actually take a look and see if there's any issues with the server.
Excellent. That would make sense. But for those that do have outdated technology, sometimes it can slow things down like a ton. Just it
Yeah,
can be so
especially on
frustrating.
WordPress. I also noticed because we have some students who use Chromebooks on WordPress, and yeah, if you're using like an iPad on WordPress or a phone or a Chromebook, it does have some problems.
And most students, especially in classrooms, those Chromebooks are what they get assigned or they get to use. And a lot of us are using our cell phones to have the portal for our social audio here on X. So you have a bunch of devices that are all kind of toggling at the same time, and you're switching screens and things like that. So it does get kind of confusing, but here's the barrier to entry. You have to just kind of grit your teeth and work your way through it. It's like Winston Churchill: if you're going through hell, don't stop. The devil won't even know that you're there. You're going to get out to the other end. So for those that have I know, Rutro, are you laughing? um, how many people here in the room have the barber pole? That is the interesting striped pole that's moving in the horizontal across your screen. Has everybody achieved that milestone? I know that Starboss and Routro were not a part of class last night, and I know Jeff was having troubles with it. So give us a thumbs up if you at least got that far before all hell broke loose. Are you Starboss? Are you there? And Routro has not. Okay, go ahead, Routro.
Okay, so I made all the changes, the 512, and I'm ready to install that thing. I still get an error. It's choking on the version.
Let's check this out. So I can actually, I think you're somewhere at the top. What's your domain name? Just your overall domain name, because I'm able to see what's actually going on with your cPanel and see if you need some sort of a change. Oh boy.
I'm gonna clip that. Oh boy. um, and Alisher has left the room, so he shall be back.
Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know how he managed to get out of there so quickly. I think that Cash Money Kev has got him back in, but I always think those are delightful.
I
There you
just
are,
couldn't
friend.
hear anybody all of a sudden. Okay, so Rutro, what is your domain name? I can go in and change a setting for you.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
yeah, sorry, I had it on mute. It's just Rutro, all lowercase, .tsi.
Okay, awesome.
And I put the directory, the CRM. Do I need to put that? Maybe that's what I'm doing wrong. So it's at CRM
Let's
dot.
see. We'll check it out.
Oh, I
Alisher,
found it. I found it.
Oh, you
my
got
sorry, love. My CMR just decided that it was stopping the barber pole, and I have all sorts of red. It has installing error 2024 725. That would be today. Failure 3, and mine is pocketfolks.tsiprogram.org. So I'm not exactly sure what this is, but it's definitely an installing error. Should I hit the X in the upper corner and then try to do it again?
I'll check it out. Let's see.
And I got mine sorted. I'm cool, Alistair. It's installing.
Yeah, you're gonna do well, Rutro. Wait till it says 99% and then you get the red error. So you might have the same thing that I do, but
Oh
we
crap.
will. You know what though? That's a badge of honor. We wear the red screen of you did something wrong, like a badge of honor. You have to at least get it out of your system a handful of times. That it's not a fail. It's just an opportunity for a redo. So it is a badge of honor. You have to have at least a couple. Jeff, your hand is up, friend. How are you doing? How are you faring? What happened to you, friend?
I was just going to say that when I was trying to migrate my website over to DigitalOcean, I got that same PHP version issue, and it completely crashed that thing. So I've been listening in to try and figure out if there's a way to fix that from this end, but probably not. I think I'm going to have to do a complete uninstall and reinstall over on DigitalOcean. But yeah, that's been a real pickle for me.
Yeah. So for DigitalOcean, there's other things you could look at. Like they have things that are similar to cPanel that are free, so you can just check out their marketplace. Now, Sarah, for you, I only see like 3 people in the space. Okay, so Sarah, for you, surprisingly, even though the install failed, this still works.
Yeah, I think that's what Rolodex had last night, where it was a phantom, where he thought it installed and everything was great, and then it looked great. My screen is all red, so it might be that it's showing. Should I just hit the refresh button and see what happens?
Yeah, but also you don't know the password, right? Or did you reinstall it?
I have no idea what the password is. Yeah.
Okay, so I took a look at it, and it actually doesn't look like we can change the password. And
This is gonna be great.
so if you have an error, I guess we could just reinstall it.
I think so too. So,
I will.
for the
I will
sake of the
uninstall this for
recording,
you.
are you going to take it away from my account? Or I have a exclamation point, a little wrench, and an X. I feel like the marching emojis. Which one do I go ahead and press to make sure that it erases, or are you going to do it on your end?
I will do it for you. I will have it here on the live stream. It's the X. X is going to say uninstall, and when you hover over them, if you give it a sec, they'll tell you what they do as well.
I know, but that's not as fun. This is social audio, so we have to tell everybody what happens when we do it. So I'm going to watch on the live stream. I'm clicking off of my screen so I can watch what you're doing to my whole wonderful thing, for the sake of posterity. There you are. So now I have to go back through and do those process all over again, but this time be really smart and write down the password. Is that correct?
Yes, and you can just change the password. You don't have to use the password that they give you. They usually give you like a very complicated long password.
But just to be sure, this is not the same password I have one password for my cPanel. This is not the same password for my cPanel. So we want to make sure that they're different, just because, we're practicing good safety hygiene in our accounts. Is that correct? I'm willing to be a test
Yeah,
dummy. So you can tell me,
yeah,
hey, Sarah, you were just not paying attention here. Go ahead.
that's absolutely correct. So what you want to do is you want to create a unique password, and you can even use the generate password button that's there, and that will create a very secure password for you. And yeah, this is not the same
Excellent.
password as your cPanel. And when you install any application in here in Installatron, it will ask you to create a different login, because essentially these are all separate apps. So you can have like 20 different apps with 20 different logins here. So you want
And
to
that's
start
really smart too, especially if you are, this is going to be your livelihood and you want to, build sites and do all the wonderful things for other clients. You do not want to have a daisy chain of similar stuff that they can just completely, hack, right? You want to at least make the barrier to entry a little bit tougher and create a better moat around your data and your passwords. So excellent advice, Mr. Alisher. Did anybody else have any questions? Because I'm going to go through and try to do this again and hopefully not frack it up. But if I do, you'll all be present and can, fix it as we go. Go ahead, Rutro.
Okay, so you were right. I was installing, I got the 99% and then error. So yeah, I got an error.
Ooh, Alisher gets to go into your account too. Now this is actually a very good learning experience for everybody in the room. The reason why we are in the TSI sandbox, right, is because there is that portal, that allows us to have things get fixed. And it is counterintuitive, I know, for most of the people in this room. They're self-initiated, they're go-getters, they are entrepreneurs, they are non-conventional learners and doers and button pushers and smash the buttons in the elevator. It's very difficult sometimes to just sit on your hands and say, all right, I'm going to do exactly what they tell me to do, just to get the lay of the land and to understand the process. Once you understand that process and that's in your toolbox, then you can frack with all the parameters as much as you want. And it turns out well. So, Rutlo and Alisher, how about you suss out that error message, and I'll try to figure out this other part behind the scenes.
Yeah, so Rutro, even though you got an error, try to go to this link because the website is live, and try to log in with the username and password that you made. And I'm also going to try to go to my website and again.
So where am I going? I'm sorry, just go to that domain.
So here in applications, yeah, there's a link for that domain.
Okay.
You can just click on it, and it'll take you to the login screen.
Okay, there. Okay.
And I'm going to do the same. And we'll see if it actually logs us in. I also got an error. So far, seems like that's universal. So hilariously enough, I can't log in. Were you able to log in?
That's what I'm trying to do, and I thought I had my username and password, but
So how about this? How about we all recreate it? So
Sounds-
we're gonna delete this one. There's a little X right next to it, the red X that's uninstall. We're gonna click on install again, and then we're gonna make it again. But this time let's do something different. We're gonna do one thing differently. So I'm gonna go to install vTiger, and I'm gonna keep the screen here for a little bit. Now I'm gonna select my domain. It's gonna be https crm.mydomainname. Now for directory, leave it empty. You can leave the directory empty because there's already a folder that we created. And now version, we're gonna install one version less. So instead of 8.1, we're gonna install 8.0.0. And now trade a username, we're gonna change those. I'm gonna keep this up for you guys so you can see it on the live stream.
I'm going to timestamp this at 11:52 because Kathleen is going to have the exact same issue. They are both using the same um, systems. So whatever this is that Rutro is going to go through, we're going to make sure to timestamp it so that Kathleen will be able to follow through because I think she had the same issue last night.
Yeah, so you guys can timestamp, you can screenshot. This is about what your settings should look like. So we have the version, we have the domain, make sure it has HTTPS, very important. You don't need directory because the domain has its own directory already. And you want to make sure those administrator username and password are changed. And I have bad practices here. I just put my name 123. I want something that would be like a sure thing and it'll work. Okay, let's click install. And there's not as many of us here today who have to do this, so hopefully this install doesn't have the same issues as the people had yesterday.
We are not going to beg any of that trouble. We're not even going to put it out there in the universe. We are going to have smooth sailings. We are going to have the barbershop poles and our mullets all in one tact, you know. I see that Starboss has her hand up. Starboss, how you doing? And are you following along? Have you hit a snag?
Okay, so I missed a step on the first time around, so I just continued to listen in and watch on the screen. So then I caught it on the second time around here. I do have one question on the install page. It gives a directory optional. I noticed yours didn't have CRM as the directory, Alisher. Do I also remove that or do I keep CRM in there?
What did you put for the domain? So-
I selected HTTPS and www / www.alice.tsi-program.org /
Okay, then keep CRM in there. So keep CRM as the directory.
Okay. Did I select the right one?
So typically you want to select the one that doesn't have www. So HTTPS / alice.tsi-program.org. You want to select that one.
Okay. Oh, I see it. Okay, it's just the one above. Okay. So, all right. So it's HTTPS / alice.tsi-program.org /
Yes.
Okay, and then take out the directory name?
No, leave it. Leave it as CRM.
Okay,
Yep.
and then it's version 8.1, English, I accept.
Make it version 8.0.0.
Okay, so I need to change that.
Hey, Alisher, the one that I'm using right now is the 8.1 and it's still thinking about it. So if it does fail again, we will know for sure that it was the 8.0 that we should go back and make sure that that happens. Just so we know. I do see that Rolodex Rex also has his hand up after Starboss is done with her questions. So we'll have lots of test points by the end of the day. And then Rolodex, after Starboss is done, you can go ahead and ask your question. Okay, sweet.
Thank you.
Okay, so 8.0.0 and
Yes.
then okay, English, and then I accept, and then my passwords, I'm just auto loading one. I can use the same cPanel passwords, right?
Well, just make sure you
do I
set
have
the
to change
username
it?
and password to something you can type.
Okay, so I can't use my same cPanel. Oh, I have to hand type it in. It won't let it automatically load on what's already saved.
No,
No, don't
No,
do
it's
that.
not
That's
gonna-
what I did. Don't do that.
Don't do
it's
that.
gonna load. It just gives you a
Don't do
random
that.
password.
Okay.
Without
And
you
make sure
actually
you
seeing what it is, you don't know.
and make sure you
Okay.
click look at your
Okay.
password. Okay. Do as I say, not as I did.
Show password. Yeah. Yeah, okay, I just want to write all this down before I press go. Okay. All right, and
That's
then
exactly
I
what
guess
you want to
after
do.
I get that done, then I'm gonna go ahead. Yeah, I just want to
Yeah,
write
then
my
you can just
passwords down. Okay, I'm gonna go on mute.
see if it installs or if it fails, and I'll see as well. Minus on 99%, which seems to be the issue that we had last time as well.
Yep, mine's sitting at 99%. It's just kind of thinking there. Rolodex, what questions did you have, honey?
Howdy. Good morning. This is Rolodex. So this morning I got logged in with the TTI website, and I linked my calendar, and I did that correctly because I checked the calendar, and it automatically set me to 11. And I thought you guys were San Diego based. Well, I'm not sure what time zone you guys are in, but it did say 11, so I assumed that it was San Diego based. I'm in Central. Anyways, I thought I was 3 minutes early, and it looks like you guys have been going for an hour. Should I hit the recap, or is this something that you guys just started the development? I catch up pretty easily at this
We
point.
started 58 minutes ago, sort of 50 minutes ago. It's 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday morning, but don't worry, it's all recorded. And this is incredibly condensed and distilled. So literally, the 5 hours last night is distilled down into 50 minutes, right? So it's a little nugget. If you already got everything to work last night, you're good to go. If you hit any critical errors, or when you signed into your cPanel and you did not see your vTiger, this is the troubleshooting morning. Because sometimes, it's like the fog of war. You wake up in the morning, you log in, and you're like, I fracked up everything. Nothing is, turning on. That can happen, because a lot of people like to go
I'm very I'm very good with creating like digital content. I've created 30 classes, so I can do it pretty quick as we go. If there's anything y'all think that could help the process for the next season, any type of way to help you guys build structure, I can create alongside your teaching as we build together.
What a wonderful suggestion. And or help. My process, for instance, new message. It's a new error. So I do believe it is the version. So I'm going to try it again. I'm going to press the magic X button and see if I can't fix the because I don't know what's wrong with it. Jeff G and Starboss. Jeff G, you go first, and then Starboss, you can go next. Pick your poison. What's your problem?
I just wanted to ask, did we decide that we cannot go in and manually change username and password?
Yes, you cannot go in and manually change it from cPanel. If you forgot your username and password, you would have to reinstall vTiger.
That's true. Also, Alisher, did yours work?
It's still going.
Because mine it didn't work, and then it worked. The second try, changing nothing.
Can I go now?
Okay.
Yep, go ahead, Star Boss.
Okay, cool. So I did the install and I got an error message that the version 8.0.0 requirements not met, and then it lists like a red box with the requirements that weren't met.
Give me 1 sec. I'll actually take a look at your account.
Okay.
That's probably the execution time on PHP for her.
Alisher, I'm uninstalling again, just because it's the same error message. So, and I have, changed the password, did all the other stuff. So I just think that there's a disconnect somewhere and we'll figure it out. I see that Sharon has arrived. Good morning, Princess. Morning, beautiful. Happy Thursday. I know that you were working earlier today.
Yeah,
Thank you for dropping in.
Like Sharon, for example, didn't work, and then I did it again, and then it told me an error, and then I just did it again, and it worked.
All right, Starbucks, you can go ahead and try again.
Okay. So what do I do? Do I just refresh it, or what am I how am I going to start again? Do I just hit the install again and try it like that?
Yeah, try it like that. And if that doesn't work, just refresh because I changed your settings.
Okay. Okay, let me try.
Rutro does have her hand up. Alisher, would you like me to try this second time as a version 8.0.0?
Yeah, let's try again. I'm gonna try again as well. I guess Ross said it might take a few tries, so I'll try again too.
Ross, are you asking folks to have the 8.10 or is
No,
it?
I tried that too.
Uh-huh.
Didn't seem to make a difference. I got one to install both ways, so.
Well, I am definitely going to try the 8.0.0
Sure,
and then see what happens.
I'm gonna go in on yours. I'm gonna see something.
All right, I'm not going to touch anything. I just erased or uninstalled
How come I
the bad
can't
one.
find you? What's your cPanel name?
Pocket Folks.
Panda?
Ro, your hand is up too. Why we have everybody in the room? Go ahead and speak freely, friend.
Yeah, I'm exactly where you are. It's still installing. I'm still at 99%, so I'm just hoping I'm a go. I haven't got an error yet, but it looks like it's trending that way. So I'll just hold. I'm gonna hold
It was
fire.
that way
It's like the
yesterday,
Braveheart
and then it
moment.
wasn't.
Hold.
So 2 things are important. Make sure you're choosing the S and you don't need a directory.
Yeah, I did it that way. It said optional for the directory. I said no. I did the HT with the S.
But
Yeah.
I'm gonna try Sarah's, then I'll go into yours and we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, I did it the exact same way. So I have with the S, I did the directory optional as blank, and it has had 2 error messages come back. So we'll see. It'll work. It always does, folks. We just
So
have to
I
kind of
should
zhuzh it.
uninstall, right? Uninstall.
Hold off on doing anything
Okay.
until Ross looks at your account.
Okay,
It's just easier this way,
Yeah.
because you and I and most of everybody in this room are the same. If it does not work, you're immediately pushing buttons to make it work, and if it doesn't work, you're going to see if your computer is aerodynamic. The ability and patience runs thin, right? This is the moment where you just say, okay, I'm going to sit on my hands for a second. I'm going to take a sip of coffee, and I'm going to let the guys behind the scenes see if we had missed anything. And that's the hard part, is that especially if you think that you're going to know that you're doing the right thing. I know for me personally, when I go through this, your muscle memory kicks in, but the sign of insanity is doing the same freaking thing and getting the same freaking result. You might be overlooking something And it could be something as stupid as a capital letter or a hidden space that you just don't see, and they can see it on their side. So I did that in season 2, and I think season 1 there was a 12-hour period of complete tears because I could not see this stupid space. And at that point, my husband's like, "It's not going to change." I said, "Oh yes, it is. I'm going to just continue to do the same thing." And then Captain Obvious clicked in and I found out my error. So it is what it is, my friends. But yes, so let them look at it first and then we can see how it is. Starboss, are you all caught up, friends?
I'm just enjoying looking at this thing that says 99%, and it's just kind
Yep.
of sitting there.
Yep.
So I'm
Yep.
just
It's sitting in the barber chair. You're
Yeah,
getting the
just-
mullet right
yeah,
now. Mhm.
letting it just spin around, just little minor entertainment. I'm like, where's the beach ball of death? I don't need that, but remember that one? It would just spin around, and all of a sudden you got the blue screen. But it's been at 99 for a few minutes, so maybe it will work.
Sarah, I'm in yours, and I'm also gonna go in Rut Rose and see what's going on.
Excellent. I have written down the new username that it's giving me just in case when you tell me to hit click and send, I will hit click and send and install. And I too will have the barber pole. And I'm really thankful last night to whoever suggested it was a barber pole instead of a stripper pole. Thank you very much for doing that because you should hear and see the DMs afterwards. And I just want to say thank you. You are a good soul, whoever you are last night. Yes. Jeff G, how are you, friend? Are you still watching the barber pole?
Oh no, I'm nowhere near a computer. I'm driving a bus. I'm just
Very
listening
good.
in.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. Well, did you get it to work last night?
Yes, I did, and I was actually able to get up to the login screen for VTiger. Problem is, I did not write down that darn password and stuff, so I'm going to have to do an uninstall and reset. But I'm pretty well got the process figured out, so I'm not too worried about it at this point.
This is the funniest thing, and I hope that the recording treats us all kindly for posterity's sake. Simple things like writing down a password. We have the assumption, especially, that the computer's either going to keep it for you or that it's the same. And I have fallen into this trap, and I consider myself, semi-fluid when it comes to technology. That is the one thing that all of us have to take better care of doing, especially in the age of AI, is being proactive and not being just a passive consumer and assuming that it is going to do everything for you. It's just like when you're driving, and when we teach our young drivers to be, proactive drivers, instead of reactive. You are kind of thinking through everything ahead of time, and it's that simple discipline of checking and making sure that you are, keeping track of your digital hygiene, especially when it comes to passwords. You don't want any daisy chains of that allow people to have easy access, especially now. So, it's always better safe than sorry. And, the worst thing that can happen is you have to uninstall. That's not a big deal. And eventually they'll all suss out, I know that it can be very anxious for people that are in this environment because, sometimes you don't want to ask a question or you don't want to appear, foolish. I am perfectly cool with being foolish in front of everybody. I have no qualms about it whatsoever. And so if there's ever a question that you think is dumb and you don't want to answer it or ask it, just DM me. I'm more than happy to say, "Hey Ross, here's my dumb question." And it's perfectly cool. So hopefully we're figuring out.
Well,
Starboss, go
I
ahead.
have a screenshot of everything, so after this, I'm
I'm
gonna
just
make.
waiting for the barber thing to
Yeah, I
go.
wouldn't
That's
wait.
kinda
I
where
would
I'm
just
at.
try try refreshing. But if it doesn't work, I have a screenshot of everyone, so I'm just gonna go in and make sure everything works like I did last night. Sometimes it just needs a little extra love.
And Ross, I think you can actually change the password for VTiger. At least I did. I changed the admin password under overview in VTiger, and because it was blank for me when I installed it, and it changed over to the new one. And so maybe that's what's going on. Maybe if some people want to try that method out, hopefully I didn't break anything for later. And if I did, let me know and I'll just uninstall it. But I think it works for me. Perfect. All good.
So something might be going on where it shoots to like 99, because like if you look at yours right now, Sarah, it's a little bit different the way it's installing.
Mine's completely different right now. I'm sitting on my hands and not doing anything because I had I had an issue with the directory too. It said, "Hey, you left this optional thing blank." And I'm like, um, I'm leaving it blank because it's an option. But arguing with technology not seldom works. So I'm just sitting on my hands and letting the folks, that would be you, Ross, fix whatever it is. The first time that I had gone through, it did have the error, and Alisher helped me uninstall it. It just seems like there's something odd because it shoots right to 99 and then it'll just sit there for a minute. And I know for a fact that we changed all the parameters and that was all correct. So, it could just be something wonky with the system at this
So
particular
it
time.
definitely is, because it gets like out of sync, because like yours will be at like 70 and then I'll refresh, it'll be at like 68. So it like needs to figure itself out. It takes like a minute. And I remember
Yep.
when I did this for real, like for a real company, I remember I had a similar issue with version 6.
Well, this feels like a Windows issue or just a Sarah's problem because,
It's more
Windows
like an
does this to people too.
Installacon problem, I think.
It's a false sense.
Installacon is the one fumbling this, I think. And then
I'm
it
just
figured itself out.
I'm sipping from my cup of it's a Sarah problem, and it's okay. I'm perfectly content. I just want to make sure everybody else is taken care of. We have gone about 14 minutes over what we usually have. It's okay. But we don't want your whole day to be wrecked with a postmortem. Is everybody else in the room set? That's my primary objective, is to make sure that you're all good. Rutro, you're still struggling. Starboss, you're still beach balling it on the on the barber pole? Is that correct?
I'm still at the beach with the barber pole.
Excellent.
Hanging out.
Okay. Okay.
Yep, I'm here.
Matthew, you got yours to work last night, or is it working now? You can just give me a thumbs up, love. And Cornex, you have yours. Sharon, you had yours last night, correct? Just a thumbs up is good because I don't think you have a speaker role. And Rolodex Rex, you had yours, correct? You could be driving too. That's okay. You can just put a thumbs up. So I think it's just Starboss, Rutro, and I. But I want to make sure that Starboss and Rutro are good to
I
go.
have all of them open, so it's gonna
I
work.
have an install error.
Yeah, it's okay. Don't do anything on yours. I'm doing something there.
Excellent. And are you also looking at Rutro? Her name is the same.
Yep.
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 Okay, cool. So we're
I got
just
all
gonna sit and wait. If you are all set, class is
Yeah,
dismissed for you.
Yeah,
Unless
you
you
don't
wanna
have to
just sit and
wait.
listen.
We'll take care of it. I'll reach out to all three of you in Slack today.
Excellent, excellent. I am not worried about it. Um, as always, your time is precious to us. For those that are here physically and those that are listening in on the recording, I'm so proud of each and every person that has chosen to embark on season 3. These are not easy classes. These are not easy kinds of just click, 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 and it's done. There's a lot involved, and especially for this one. This one, you could actually walk away with a certification, and that's pretty special. It means that you're invested in your own education, hacking your own education, acquiring new skills. reskilling yourself in a day and an age where you are going to have an AI cohort helping you code and do the heavy lifting. This is not an easy task. It's sometimes very difficult to kind of delegate some of the pieces that you need to have done by something else. And by something else, I mean the AI tutor. If you do not have AI tutor, I highly recommend making sure that you have that before our next class. That is definitely something that you're going to need, because the free stuff that's out in the wild is not going to do the heavy lifting that you need it to do. And you want that kind of integration, just like we're in TSI's playground with our digital backpack of cPanels and digital ocean and wonderful tools in the background. You want to make sure that we're all playing on the same field, right? It makes your life monumentally easier. It's not saying that you have to, but if you really want to learn and have all of the tools that the rest of your classmates have, and being on the same page, because a lot of times it's us helping each other. It's not necessarily Nick Alisher and Ross coming out of the woodwork to make sure that we get our stuff done. It's a lot of times our teammates that say, hey, by the way, I had that problem. Here's how you fix it. And in those acts of kindness and showing one another mercy in some cases and helping us get through, you're building a collaboration, a connection, a community of your own. And collaboration is the next currency. You become very wealthy when you have a collection of folks that you can rely on to help you muddle through what this is, this new kind of life that we're living. I see that Jeff has his hand up and Starboss. Starboss, go ahead. Did you have a problem? The guys are fixing it in the background, but go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I did get an install error, and I just want to say I cannot hear Ross at all speaking, so I'm sorry if I stepped on him.
No, you're
Just
good.
now. I
Just tell
can't hear
I'm
him
taking
speak,
care of
but
it. So not to worry
so I
about it.
just have an install error. That's just kind of where I'm at, so I need some guidance.
Okay, so I'm going to interpret Ross said Akuna Matata. No worries. He's working on it in the back. So make sure you keep a lookout on the Slack channel. He's fixing it for you. There's something going on. We can't all frack it up in the same way. And if we did, this is delightful that it's the women in the group today that get to cause the guys grief. I just kind of take secret delight in that. So yes. So sit on your hands, Star Boss. Don't do anything. They're working on the background. They're helping us, Rutro and my own account. Jeff G, go ahead.
I was just going to add, for anybody that still needs to sign up on AI Tutor, don't forget to use the ITT code to get your discount.
Excellent suggestion. Make sure that that is the case. I do believe it's the premium or higher that you're going to want. And honestly, for folks that are maybe owning your own business is new to you. One of the things that you can do for yourself that is the gift that keeps on giving, show up on Saturdays to the Innovators Think Tank. Learn how to pitch your ideas. Learn from other experts in various fields how to create your business. If you're spending money on these things, they could be written off. I'm not going to give you tax advice, but these are things that if they play a major role in your business, you're going to be able to have those expenses, checks and balances on the old Excel spreadsheet. So you want to make sure that you're keeping very careful records. If this is a new business for you, know what you're spending. If you're spending money on these digital tools, keep track and make sure you know when your subscriptions are, so that you can do the right thing, right? You want to make sure that you are having a legitimate business, right? Show up on Saturdays. If you don't know, your elbow from your tail end, this is a unique opportunity for you to learn how to be an employer versus an employee. There's a big difference about when your name is on the front of the check as opposed to the back, right? There's a big difference between being a W-2 and a 1099. And at this point, this is one of those things that a lot of people don't think about. And hopefully, if we're worth our salt, we'll mention these during classes that Yeah, you're creating something that is very monetizable. If you have acquired these skills, that certification can be monetizable, whether it's to serve other clients or maybe it's as an employee of a business that you are already a part of, a job that you already have. You can go to the HR department and say, hey, I've learned some new skills. Maybe it's an upward mobility thing for a pay raise or a promotion. So make sure that you're keeping track. This is learning in public, yes, but it's also taking ownership of your transcript. Right? If you are a hack schooler, just like when you were in high school, you have a transcript. Everybody knows what grades you got and what classes you took, what capabilities and competencies you have. It's the same kind of thing. This is the new disruption of education as a whole. You don't have to have a certification or a degree. You just have to prove your core competencies. And this is how you do it. You show them your GitHub, you show them your cPanel, you show them the things that you've been building and how you did it. And so those are kinds of things that we all have to remind each other to keep track of. So at any rate, I think we are all set. I do think that the Slack channel is the place to be for Rutro, Starboss, and I. I don't want to keep everybody else past the time that they need to. Each and every one of you go on to greatness. This is a big deal, and I'm excited for season 3. Every single season brings a new set of skills, right? This isn't necessarily saying that you have to have mastery. You don't. Sometimes you're taking the class just to know what you need to know in order to hire the right person to do that kind of stuff. These are the kinds of things that help us ask better questions from those people that this is their superpower. There's some people that love to build websites. They love to build communities. They love to build SaaSes. They just wake up in the morning and that is the thing that they want to do. And if you are paying attention and knowing the right kinds of questions, you are giving them fuel to passion or to fire their passions, and be able to help you the way that you want them to help you. Or you could just do it yourself because it's fun. I know it doesn't seem like it when you have to sit on your hands because of a red screen of whatever, but it is what it is. So I just wanted to say thank you to Cash Money Kev for running the back end here, making sure that we have our screens. Luke and Matea and Josh are just wonderful, wonderful humans. I can't speak highly enough of them. They have become very good friends of mine over the course of the past year and some change. And I'm a better human because of them. Nick, Alisher, and Ross are family. I just adore them. I adore their core mission, their North Star, their passion for education, the passion for democratizing the tools that we need for this next iteration for the age of AI. It is a privilege and an honor to volunteer on Wednesday nights and Thursday mornings, and fill in here and there on Saturdays and sit in the Innovators Think Tank. I can't thank them enough because the things that I've learned, the people that I've met are just beautiful humans and a sterling example of what can happen when people are equipped, enabled, and inspired to do awesome. Ordinary folks are capable of extraordinary things if they put their mind to it. And all of you showing up today is proof positive that there are people in the world that are doing incredible things. I'm so proud of each of you. So any closing thoughts from Ross or Alisher? Definitely Cash Money Kev's gonna lead us out. If things didn't work, don't worry about it. Hakuna Matata. We will figure it out in the Slack channel. Starboss, Rutro, and I'm raising a coffee mug to you because I am a type A personality and this is driving me bonkers, but I will tell you, it will all get sussed out. No problem. So go ahead, Alisher and Ross, close us out. And then Cash Money, you get to hit the leave button and call it good.
Right, guys. We'll look into whatever issues you're having, and we'll hit you guys up on Slack. It could also be maybe there's something like Installatron, and can't really, fetch the files from Installatron. It happens. But we'll figure it out. There's other ways of installing vTiger that we can go through. And I would say, as far as it goes this week, we just installed vTiger. That's as far as we got. If you guys want to go off, play around with your cPanel, you're more than welcome. If you want to go back into season 2, because everybody's cPanels from season 2 is still there, you're more than welcome as well. You have essentially another 2 months to play around with your old website, to play around with whatever else there is in cPanel, and feel free to explore. Feel free to hit us up. And of course, if you have any issues, the Slack channel is open. Just throw in a message inside of that Idea to Impact community channel, and one of us will respond, or somebody from the community will reach out to you as well.
Just real quick, remember too, you have to, in the Slack channel, go into that general, find Ross's post, and make sure that you are in the season 3 Slack, because there's also some important links that you need to follow in there too. So I'm just putting that out there. Apologies for interrupting. Go ahead, Rutro.
I'm just gonna say, don't forget to sign up for that class, the Cisco thing. I did that, so.
Oh, yeah, we did not cover that this week. We're actually going to be re-signing people up either next week or the following week, because Cisco is moving to a new portal.
Uh-oh. Rutro.
But don't worry. All you're going to have to do is just re-sign up in the new portal. That's all.
Awesome, awesome. I think that's about it. Ross, did you have something else to say? Maybe I cut you off if I can't hear you. My bad. I saw that mic come on unmuted, brother. If you had any last closing notes, feel free.
I am not seeing him. I see the mic on and mic off.
This
I do
thing
know.
X is glitchy.
Yeah, X is being very glitchy.
All
We
good.
also have Mighty Networks, but that is a Slack channel issue. So you can go through there and make sure that you have that link, because that is also going to be another layer of communication for all of us when we do have glitchy technology. So just keep your eyes and ears open. Check in with their Slack channel at least a couple times a week, so that folks know that you're alive and kicking. Cash Money Kev, take us out, friends.
Awesome. Well done, everybody. Thanks a lot for being here, Sarah, Ross, and Alisher. Another awesome recap. The first of 6 to come. If anybody else has any more questions, feel free to DM me, Ross, Alisher, Nick, Sarah for any help. I hope you guys get to play around with your cPanels and get all logged into vTiger eventually. You know what? I don't think Ross or Alisher mentioned any homework, but I'm gonna give you guys some. Go watch some videos on cPanel and vTiger, and just learn how to use the basic stuff before we start diving into the plugins and downloading add-ons. That's the Cash Money Kev little bit of advice right there for you. And with that, I hope you guys have an awesome Thursday, a beautiful Friday, and then we'll see you Saturday for ITT number 63. So I'll be there, and I can't wait, guys. Bring a friend, invite people to pitch, sign up on the website.